Welcome back to Your Gym, guys. I've got Chris Amelon here, and we're going to talk about the future of the fitness industry. And you just, before we get into this, you just started out on the program design online stuff with us, right?
Yeah.
How's it going so far?
Great. I have, Adam writes me, you kind of have a 4-day-a-week program, and he sends it to me via email with video links and all this stuff. And so I have very limited time. It's hard for me to go out to to a gym or someplace.
And you have a sweet setup at your
And I have a really great setup at my house, so
it works really well.
It saves me a lot of time, and I'm able to just execute the program, and then I write down my numbers, and then I report back to you how I'm doing. And so far, it's just been great. I've been loving it.
And I scream at her through the through the email.
Yeah.
Let's just go. Like that doesn't actually happen.
No.
That would be cool. Like if technology got to a point where you could almost like hologram yourself in, so that you could like somehow do all that. I don't know how that would work.
I mean, it might be coming. I don't know. But a lot of us don't need like tons of accountability at that time, but somebody that we can touch base with just here and there, I think works really well. That works for me. So I've been really happy with it. I've really enjoyed it, and it's been just like perfect.
Awesome. I'm really glad, because it's an interesting thing, because like this is one of the things we wanted to talk about on the show is like I think this is the future of the fitness industry, and I know that this is happening through Skype and through different like digital mediums and stuff. And I think it really is. It's something that it's here. It's something that we're going to have to adjust to. Not something that we wonder if it's going to happen. I think it's here.
Yeah, and I think with people having increasing limited time of disposable time, for me, it saves me an hour per workout to just be able to do it in my house, in my basement, versus going someplace, coming back.
And this might be one of those things with, like we were talking about earlier, with the genius of the millennials is like, and I think it's just across all demographics, is that they're finding, I think people are figuring out just how important time really is.
Yes.
And
agreed.
The drive back and forth, and the time they spend at the job is at the job that you want, and the amount of money that you can make in the amount of time that you have, and what are you spending with your family, and how are you spending, like what are you doing for your health, and all these different things. It's pretty amazing.
And that's why I think you're seeing, the grocery delivery and the HelloFreshes and all of those things that are saving us time. Even though they might cost a little bit more, you're seeing people shop on Amazon. It just saves us time, and that's the big factor.
It used to be to go to the store saved you time because you could go and talk to an expert.
Right.
But the last time that I went to a store, the last time that I went to a Sears, and I think I can make fun of Sears because they're closed now. Like, this was the most ridiculous experience I've ever had. I went to Sears to buy this little wrench thing that I needed for something in the house. And I didn't even want the wrench thing. I would have just paid somebody to come over, do it for me, and leave, But I went to Sears, and I looked around for a clerk, couldn't find a clerk. So finally, I spent all this time trying to find the thing that I needed, the little wrench thing. Found the little wrench thing, and then I walked around the store for another 15 minutes to try to buy the wrench thing, and I still couldn't find a clerk to purchase. And I was like, I could have stolen this easier than I can buy it. And I set it down, walked out, and I went somewhere else and bought it somewhere else. And it's just like I would have paid money for somebody to just like probably 10 times as much money as that stupid little wrench costs to just come over and do it for me. And I think that's kind of what you're seeing now, is like people are they're genius. Like my time is very valuable. Yes, it is.
Right. And I think we're willing to pay for that. Now I think we need to spend our money in the right places with regards to that.
Well, that's that's kind of the thought process that I was having there. It's like people are willing to, like, it's not a money thing.
Right.
It's that it's a time and what am I getting out of this thing?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, I really recommend the online training. It's been great. Most of you guys have some equipment in your house, so you don't have to have the setup that I have. Is kind of ridiculous, actually. But
I like the setup.
But you should check it out on your webpage, right?
Yeah, you just go to, really to get started, you would want to go to gritgym.com/PDS and get a program design session first. We can do those over video. We've done plenty of those over video at this point.
Cool.
If you're not getting a program design session up front, then we're just guessing on what your program should look like. And like with Chris, she's got a knee, and her knee screws with her hip a little bit, and her hip screws with her back a little bit. And she has some significant things from one side, from the left to the right, and how her core actually, and what she's ready for. Some of you might be ready for a 315-pound back squat. There's very few. And some of you are like, well, I can't even do a squat to a box and stand back up. So it's like, you have to give people the right appropriate exercise. And unless we do the program design session, it's very difficult to know.
And I think sometimes it's nice to work on your own and not, in that case, be in a group, giant group fitness, because you can execute what's right for you and not feel that pressure of doing that 300 squat because the guy that you're working with is doing the 300-pound squat.
I don't know about you, but when I first started lifting, I was alone almost all the time.
Yeah.
Until I got to college, I lifted alone.
Agreed.
And it was
for me.
It was almost better because I didn't have to try to keep up with all the other guys and do this like stupid pissing match that little boys do.
That gets you in trouble.
Yeah, it gets you hurt.
You in trouble.
I was good enough to get myself hurt without that. You know?
Yeah, and I think that I feel like my focus is just a little bit better.
Sure.
And there's times where certainly being around other people and it's great to have that, but it's really time efficient. And because I'm executing a plan, I don't spend any time trying to figure out what I'm going to do that day. And that's also a huge time saver for me.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the things that are appropriate for me.
Yeah.
So,
we were talking about that earlier, about how like speed to get to the thing that you're trying to do.
Yes.
Like speed to the task.
Yes.
Like you want to get to your task as fast as you possibly can.
Yes.
Because then you're more likely to get it done.
Yes.
If you're dreading doing the dishes, well, if you're just focusing on the dread, then you're not going to get the dishes done, and the task didn't get any easier because you dreaded it.
Right.
So like if you just push to the dishes,
get them done right away.
Same thing with your workout. The less obstacles that you can have in the way, the better. But you got to push to it.
It's good stuff. Check it out.
Thanks. So what do you think the future of the fitness industry, besides the online training stuff, like what else are some trends that you're noticing?
Well, I mean,
spin my chair a little bit.
I will say that, I can turn to. I really thought we'd be flying in our cars. I really thought by 2019 we'd be flying.
That would be cool if like everything was like its own little drone, instead of tires, we just like, it would be so loud. It'd be really, really loud. But we're not flying yet.
We're not flying yet, but I think the speed at which the industry is always changing is sort of rapid like that.
Yeah.
I kind of wrote a few notes down. I definitely see the online training growing. And I think there's a group of people that, and this is a lot of the clientele I work with that don't maybe want to be in a gym, that don't want to exercise out in front of other people.
Sure.
And then there's other people that don't have a lot of time. And so that saves them time. And so I think you'll see that grow. If you look at Peloton, the bike company.
Oh, true, yeah.
They're kind of blending purchasing their equipment with their online services. So you're going to see that continue, I think.
Yeah.
But then there's a secondary, I think there's a secondary market that is going to be about community and having a place that we go that we feel comfortable and that we can work out in. And I think those are the two directions.
And those might merge a little bit because, like with VR and with technology and where it's moving, like on a bike anyway. I don't know. I don't think you want to be wearing VR glasses when you're lifting weights.
Oh, that would be wild.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah.
But something similar to that might be a thing. But yeah, I think the community driven. That's something that we've.
I think that will grow.
And I think that's from a moral standpoint is why we started doing all the trying to build a community sort of thing. Was just like people want to be a part of something.
Yes.
Like people want to belong. People like more than anything, people want to feel welcome.
Right.
I think we can all
understand
that. Like it feels good to be like if Chris doesn't want me around, I don't want to spend time with Chris.
Right.
And if I don't act like if I don't want Chris around, Chris doesn't want to spend time with me. So it's like it's the same difference.
Right. And we know that we can't go sit at the end of a bar like Norm did and have that VR place and drink beers all day, or we shouldn't. So we need another place.
She'll end up like Norm.
Or we'll end up like Norm.
Yeah.
So we need another place where we can experience that sense of community. And I think increasingly it will become gyms. And I do think,
speaking of bars, it's way better than the bar.
Way better.
Way better than the bar.
I mean, we are sitting at a bar here, but you can get a nice protein shake and some other things if you want. I do see the decline of, and sorry if you're invested in one of these, but the sort of the box gym. I'm not talking about CrossFit boxes.
You won't throw them under the bus. I'll throw them under the bus. Like I think that is the most immoral model. The big box gym is it like they.
Yeah.
Well, I need to leave out names, but the $40 and under model it was a business model that they found a price point where people stopped showing up.
Yes.
And I think that's wrong. Like, we're going to take your money at this level because then you won't show up. So the gym that I'm thinking of right now,
I know it.
They average 7,000 members per location. That's insane because most of them are under 3,000 square feet. If all 7,000 members showed up, in a month, they'd have to go out of business. They'd be like, it wouldn't be able to work. And I think that's just such an immoral model. So,
kind of the basis of I'm going to make money because I'm going to sell you a product you're not going to use.
Yeah. We'll lease you the opportunity to exercise. Whereas like we try to do the exact opposite of that. We're like, we're going to go really tiny in this tiny little space, and we are going to service people to death. We're going to be experts, and we are going to give not just customer service, but we're going to teach them how to do every single thing. We're going to hold their hand through the whole workout, and we're going to do an assessment up front so we know what is the best thing to give to them. And we are going to be the absolute most educated.
Yes, you guys you just knock it out of the park with that.
Thanks.
You really do.
Well, it's an obsession. So
that's good.
Step inside my crazy mind for 10 seconds, and I don't know if to say it's good, but it's fulfilling on a level I couldn't. As far as fulfilling a purpose in your life, I don't know. This is what help a billion people is what I'm committed to. So I have to figure out a way to do that.
Right, and I think along with that I hope where we go in the industry, and this would probably be number 2, where I see the future would be an increasing expertise in our, and now we've seen it in the college ranks for the most part, the rise of the strength and conditioning coach. We've seen
a little bit of a spike in the professional world, but even that's kind of wary.
But what we need is people who are really good at working with general population people. And somehow we need to figure out a model in this industry of keeping our people, because we're losing too many inside their first 5 years.
Totally.
And I really felt like the 10-year, I was terrible when I wasn't terrible, but I'm so much better now than I was 10 years ago. I'm embarrassed about some of the things I had people do.
But you're probably I'm embarrassed about the stuff I did 10 years ago.
Yeah, I totally am.
And I was probably pretty decent starting where I was then, because I'd already read and experienced enough at that point. But I look at old programs that I used to write, and it's oh my God, don't show anybody this.
Yeah, put that away.
But if you weren't progressing, you wouldn't think that. So it's a really good thing.
And that's just part of the learning process, right? Too. And it's same thing with doctors. You probably don't want a doctor just out of the med school, but you probably want one that's been doing this for a bit and treating patients. So. We have to figure that out somehow, and I think part of that's pay scale, and part of that's hours.
I do too. And you guys are on this live right now, so if you guys have suggestions or if you guys have questions, you can ask us in the comments section below. Please do ask the question, and we'll address it here. But also, if you could, just so we know who's on, because it doesn't show us everybody, can you put in #TeamLive? And if you're watching this later, can you put in #TeamReplay? But the average person in this industry only lasts less than 18 months. A year and a half is how much. And there's the statistics around the people who have a mental breakdown between year 6 and year 8 is staggering. I mean, it's almost 100% of us that last that long go crazy at some point. And I think that there's a little bit of that. We want to help people so much, and there's also the how do you make money doing this, and it used to be that the only way that you could make money doing this if you were the business owner, but I think that that's one of the things that's starting to change.
I hope so, and I'll be honest with you guys out there. Part of that is on you as the consumer.
Oh, totally.
If we're gonna meet this goal in the future, you guys have to be willing to recognize this as a really important expense. I guess.
Well, we have to do it 100-100. It's 100% our responsibility to influence you guys into spending money on your health. Because when you spend enough money on your health, you will take the action of showing up and doing the things. And then it's also 100% your responsibility to take the opportunity.
Right. And I think that if we I'm not going to get political, but I will tell you, if we really want to solve a lot of the issues that we have in this country, if we can just look introspectively at our own health on an individual basis and learn to be healthier people.
See, I don't even think that's a political thing. I think that's just a responsibility thing.
We do have that
there will never
responsibility.
be something that can you cannot outsource your individual responsibility.
Yeah.
It will never be a thing. And no government program will ever be, if you want to go, probably shouldn't say it, but no government program will ever be able to replace individual responsibility.
Right.
It will not be a thing.
Right.
You are such a powerful, the amount of power that you have as an individual is astronomical.
Right.
The game that you guys, or the day-to-day avenues of what the normal person, it's not even beginning to scratch the surface of the power that you have within you.
Right.
And I'm sounding a little cheesy, but you start exploring the depths of the universe that's inside of you, and you open up just you open up an entire universe full of power.
Yes.
And I think I've been working at this for maybe 7-8 years now, trying to really tap into this how powerful really am I? Mm-hmm. And I think I am just scratching the surface. I don't think I've even teed off yet.
Yeah.
And I am probably the craziest person you've ever met in terms of continuing education and reading and spending money on my mind.
And truthfully, in the United States, we have a unique, it's not like that in every country. There are countries where women would not be allowed to exercise, or we have even more power here because we have those freedoms.
Sure.
So with that does come that responsibility, that personal responsibility that you're talking about.
That's the Mark Ripito thing, right? He said the perspective is that 30,000 years ago, life would have necessitated that you kept yourself in shape.
Yeah.
If you didn't run your food to death and you didn't go out and hunt and gather and do all the things, life kept you in shape. Well, now we're free of that. And with that freedom, there was this outrageous responsibility now, because we're still we're still the same animal that we were 30,000 years ago.
Right.
Now we have a responsibility with that freedom to tend to our own health.
Right. And if we're going to enlist people to help us, which I think is a great idea.
Yep.
My opinion is that we have to reset our mind from the $50 a month is an expensive gym membership to, hey, this is worthy of $300 or $400 even dollars a month for me to spend to be healthy.
Well, you get what you pay for.
You do, and so I think we have to change that mindset a little bit.
And if the more it scares you, the more it hurts. I notice this with people when they come in here and sign up. The people who are I don't have any money, I'm gonna sign up and I'm gonna start doing Uber tonight. We've had a person do that. They're I'm gonna do Uber 2 nights a week to be able to pay for my gym membership because I think this will change my life. And I'm you did the right thing. Yeah. And those are the people who just drastically change their life. And that person's not still doing Uber. They got a better job now. That's making more money. Right. They're doing incredible things. But that person it was scary for them to make that jump, but they figured it out. They committed.
And I don't know if anybody recognizes how much of your personal and professional success is tied exactly to how you feel about yourself and your body and daily pain levels and things like that. So
money's useless. Money's useless until it is used. It is the most insane thing that you're no, I have all this money in the bank. It's okay, well, what's it doing for you? It's just it's losing 3% every year.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything for you.
Yeah.
Money is useless until it is used. The only thing that you get, you can use money to give yourself more energy by getting an expert to push you into a workout that can. It's weird. You burn off a little energy in your workout. You have all this other energy throughout the day.
Right.
But if you don't do that, well, okay.
Right.
I guarantee you the $200 or the $400 or whatever that you spent on your health every month. What's $200 is basically $7 a day. Right. You were going to spend that $7 somewhere.
That's easy to find, isn't it, you guys? I mean, seriously.
Yeah. You probably spend $160 on your TV to watch commercials. This is one of the most insane things that I see people do. Yeah. Probably spend $5 at Starbucks, and when you go in there, you get a scone, so that drives it up to $7. Right there, we just saved. That's $300. If $7 a day is $217 plus 160. You've got $100. Yeah, you've got $377.
Yeah. And if you need help with that, just give Adam and I a call, and we'll Susie Orman your finances, and we will find you.
Well, Susie's part, like, that's interesting. Like you listen to Susie, you listen to what's his name, the bald guy with the goatee.
Oh.
But they're all like, save your money, save your money, save your money,
what?
save your money, and it's like, for what? Like, I think I should save my money to probably invest in something, but like, I need to grow my income so that I can provide a life for myself, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you do too, and so do you, and so do you, and so do you, whoever I'm pointing to.
And before you financial people get mad at us, we're not talking about like not saving anything.
Right.
We're just talking about reprioritizing what you spend money on.
Yeah.
And that's really all you guys need to do. But you know, honestly, if we're going to keep these coaches so that they can be really good, and so that we can help more people.
Yeah. You're voting for the things that you want. Like Dave Ramsey. Thanks. That's his name. But you're voting for the things that you want. So if you go buy Tyson's chicken, you're voting for the world to be worse. Like, I know that that's a bold statement, but if you're buying grass-fed beef, you're voting for a better world.
Yeah.
If you take 100% responsibility for everything that happens in your life, you just created like a domino effect that is gonna affect everybody else that you know.
And so that's like your job is out there is for you to be. Here you go.
Thanks. I can lose that one.
For you to reconsider how you spend your money. Our job is to be the best that we can be, to learn all the time, to train as many people as we can, and still have a life ourselves, and still be able to
still figuring that one out.
Live a livable wage and things like that. That's really our responsibility, and I think that.
Maybe that is one thing. Like, from a money standpoint, when I first started doing this, it was $50 to $100 per session, and you signed people up for 8 or 12 sessions, and then you ran them through. Yeah. You know, and that totally sucked. It was really expensive. Only the really rich people could do it. And now it's a lot better. Now it's like we can do semi-private training that's very affordable. Yeah. We can do unlimited training. You know, like at Grit, it's $99 biweekly, which is about $7 a day. Yeah. Which is easy to find in your budgets. So, I think those are definitely two things that I see in the future. Yeah. I hope that we will get used to spending a little more on our gym memberships so that the whole industry can be better. Yeah, everybody will win. And maybe this is one thing that we were going to talk about with the team this week is like it is a win-win. Yeah. It's not like somebody lost because if you come in and you spend money at a place like this, that's right. You are getting a service that is worth hundreds of times more than what you're paying for. Right. So it is the trainer wins, you win, and the world wins. It's just Anyway. Yeah. I think the other thing that I hope comes out of the future is our ability to reach our older clientele better. And this comes from a very personal thing for me. I recently lost my father-in-law who took a fall, and it just cascaded into, down a really bad health path. And if I can do something to help prevent that, and I work with several people that are in that age group, and the Dan John, were you in the Dan John Perform Better? No. I've seen Dan John many times, and he talks a lot about the falling, and what he was saying is, I think it was in the over 55 category, it's better for you to have cancer than it is to have a fall, which just blew my mind. Yep. And that's only 55. Yeah, that's not even. That's young. That's young, and so weight training, strength training, doing things can go so far into preventing that. Yeah, and like simple things sometimes too, like walking with a kettlebell like this, pushing a sled. So good. Learning how to roll over and stand up versus sit up and stand up. Yeah. That is a spine saver on spine savers on spine savers. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing what little things that you can such simplistic little things that you tweak in somebody's daily life, and it just makes a world of difference. And you guys, it's just like if you're, I don't want to say over 50, over 55, but you should really, really consider that.
getting involved in a weight training, strength training program. And I know these guys are terrific.
You'll never replace strength.
No.
Like some people say you should start with aerobics first. And it's like, okay, well, you're putting stress on the heart. Sure. Well, we're putting stress on the heart with strength training.
Yeah.
Like you should start with movement quality first.
Yes.
Movement quality first, and then we start trickling in the other stuff as we progress towards it.
Yes.
The 80s really screwed people up.
Yeah, where we were all in headbands, leg warmers, and...
When was the last time you wore a leotard?
Never. That never happened. And in fact, this is just not when volleyball went from shorts to bloomers, I quit volleyball.
Is that what those are called? Those are called bloomers?
I don't know what they're called.
The tight
yeah,
shorts.
But they went to that when I was in high school, about midway through, and I was like, I'm done. I'll see you guys later. I'm not wearing that in front of people.
That's really too bad.
So, yeah. So I'm hoping that we're speaking to those of you who are maybe over 50 that you listen to this and you go, I'm going to give them a call.
I hope so too. And like, if you want to get started, go to gritgym.com. And there's a How to Get Started tab, and click there, fill it out, and come out here and do a strategy session with us. It's completely free. It's 20 to 30 minutes. We'll set up a plan for you on like what little things that you can do to get started. And if you want to join out here, even better.
Yeah, and you should know, neither one of us are doing this because we want to be rich. We do this because we genuinely care about you. And we want you.
This is just not something you could get rich on. You're never going to be Bill Gates owning a gym. Like you would have to own every gym in the world, and even then, they're not exactly huge profit centers. If you pay your people what they should be paid.
And I would like to go to the last thing I would like to say with the over 50 population is we've gone away from like chair-based, and in some cases that's appropriate, but we are not categorizing the exercises any differently. Squatting and hinging and pushing and pulling and
then when you get into your core, it's bracing, bridging, anti-lateral flexion, anti-rotation.
Yes.
It's very fundamental stuff. It's just how do you make it appropriate to the person that you're working with.
And that's what I know you guys are very good at. I like to think that I am too.
Yeah.
And just starting at the right place and so it's not like...
And sometimes people think that sounds boring. I almost guarantee you in your first day working out at Grit Gym, you will do probably 5 exercises that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Like you'll be like, wait, what? And it's not because we're trying to be sexy. It's not because we're trying to be exciting. It's because we're trying to be us.
Yeah.
You know, like when we say, if you're here to be normal, you're in the wrong place. That's not about trying to be different. That's about being so much you that it just is exuding from your being, you know?
Right. And I think in you guys' case, you're 10 years ahead of what will be commonplace. So
I hope so.
I
Hopefully by next year we're 20 years ahead. Hopefully.
And it always takes education a while to filter its way through everyone. So I just think you guys are always on the upper end of the curve and what's appropriate and using science. Science is great.
That's pretty great.
You know?
Yeah. Well, like the nice thing is that a lot of the stuff that is happening in the experiential side is being proven now by the science side. Like Gray Cook is more the science side and Dan John is more the experience side, and they're coming to parallels that are just like
the same.
Almost identical. And that's really weird. That is almost like a never.
Right.
But very, very interesting.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of exciting things. I don't know how we're doing on time for your thing, but there's a lot of exciting things in the future. There's probably a few things I wish would go away. But
big box gyms, I would like to see those just leave.
Yeah.
It's whatever. I don't think that anything should there's talk of like a lot of regulation happening. I know, like,
I haven't paid attention. Yeah.
And that would be really too bad because even though there are some really terrible people who do this and get people hurt, so basically what I'm saying there, you should vet the person that you're going to go see. You should do as much research on them as you possibly can. You should talk to different people. You should ask different people in the industry what they think of them. You should get as many third-party references as you possibly can before you choose the person that you're going and working with, and that includes me. Don't just
Me too.
Don't believe every word I say. Go look it up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help as much as I possibly can, but like I'm the first one to say don't believe me. I don't remember where I was going with that.
Yeah, just being a better consumer, I think, too. You know, as far as I think,
the deregulation. Like, I still think, like, even with that, I think that it should stay unregulated because
we don't want to put up barriers.
Right, and you want to choose who you end up with, and if it ends up being a case where it's regulated to death, the price will skyrocket. There's a doctor in here. He's a doctor, and he owns his practice, and it's a fairly decent sized practice. And I asked him, like, how much of payroll is just to fill out the paperwork for the government? And he's like, at least 30%. And I was like, okay, so how many people are on payroll? Like, how many people could you get rid of if you didn't have to fill out all that paperwork? And he said, we could probably get rid of 30 people. I go, how many people do you have? He goes, 40.
Yeah. We don't want that. You
Yeah,
know, that's not going to be good for this industry.
Like, that's just going to drive the price up.
Yeah.
And I don't want, like, I want people to pay enough where they push themselves in here, but I don't want it to go so high that people cannot afford it no matter what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you guys as consumers too, you can look at online. Most coaches, trainers, gyms have online presence, and you can look at what they're doing. Use your common sense. Who looks like they know what they're doing, knows what they're talking about. I'll give you one thing to look at. If you see a picture of a gym, look at what somebody's spine looks like when they're doing an exercise. Yeah. Because a really good coach will not let that break down. It might happen occasionally, but it won't very often. So.
Hi, Susie.
Hi, how you doing, Anna?
I'm doing well. We're just wrapping this up.
Hey, no.
You go.
Early, I just want to make sure. You want me to go somewhere else?
No, you hang out.
You're good.
Okay, sounds good, thanks.
Where were we? Oh, the spine thing. Yeah, like if somebody's deadlifting, they're picking a weight up off the floor, and their back looks like this. You know, it's all curved over.
Run
like
away.
That's a either the coach doesn't know or the coach doesn't care.
Right.
Those are both big, huge red flags.
Right.
And it's also sad because it's basically an atomic bomb going off in that person's back, and that's a huge. It's beyond an energy leak. You're essentially causing an injury at that point. And it's really a bummer.
Yeah. So, and if you're a coach out there listening to this, don't let that stuff happen in your gym. Rise up and have a really high standard for movement.
Yeah. Yeah, if that's the thing I think about, like people who say like, oh, you know, we're different because we care. I'm like, well, how many books did you read? How much did you spend in your continuing ed? Actually, like this is kind of like, I don't know if it's a humble brag, but it's a total brag. Like we spent more last year on our on my education, the staff's education, than my cousin did on his medical school.
I believe that.
A year of medical school.
Yeah.
Like we put like basically every dime that we have extra
goes into that.
Goes into our brains.
Yeah. Right.
And that's a sign of somebody that cares.
Yeah. I was just thinking that too, like, you know, not going out and, you know, you're going to be able to tell the people that really care because they're going to care about how their clients move. They're going to be passionate about learning. And maybe
they're going to do what they don't want to do when they don't want to do it because they care enough to actually provide a service. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so, and maybe we'll be flying around like the Jetsons in a few years.
Maybe we'll take our brains out and put them in like a thing, and then we can just live virtually somewhere else. You know, it's like, what's that movie with the little robot?
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
The little robot guy with oh my gosh, what is it? If someone can help me out with this movie, please put it in there. But he's a little white robot guy, and he goes around and he's like the trash pickup guy, and all the humans are out in space because Earth got so bad, and they're all like, they have like these short arms. Yeah. Hopefully we don't go there. But.
No, that would not be good, so.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's time to close it down.
Yeah.
Anything you want to get out before we?
Yeah, I would just say if there's two things you're going to spend your money on in your life, spend it on your mind and your body.
Yeah.
Okay. And
those two things that no one can ever take that from you.
Yeah. And
like, whatever you put in.
As a society, if we had that opinion on things, we would put a lot of money into our education of our children, and we'd put a lot of money into our health. And if you guys can have that too, I think you're going to live a really rich and full life.
Yeah. I don't think you can ever, all that, like, all the education, like I've spent a lot of money on my education. I mean, like an insane amount of money. Wall-E, that's the movie. An insane amount of money on my education. It has never cost me a dime.
Yeah.
Like just like let that one rattle around a little bit. It's never cost me a dime because and it's something that no one can ever take this from me.
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, it's in there. But
good stuff. It's
anyway.
good. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
thanks for letting me be on again.
Maybe we should do like an interactive like an action one next time. We're actually like moving around doing stuff.
Oh, you want to move?
Yeah.
All right.
Not action like.
Like, do you want us to exercise?
Yeah, something
I'm
like that.
kidding.
You guys put your vote in. If you guys want to see Chris and I do like a more action-y one where we're showing exercises, then
we could do like our favorites or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Might be kind of fun. All right, man.
All right.
Good deal.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to close it down, guys. Thanks for being here. If you were live on the show, please put #TeamLive. If you're watching this again, please put #TeamReplay. And if you're interested in doing the program design or the online training, go to gritgym.com/PDS and you can get signed up there. And we can do those online. We can do those over a medium like this now, which is pretty cool. And then we write a program up and get to work.
That's good stuff.
All right. See you soon.